What's up guys, Frodo here, and for the past 3 weeks I have been using nothing but the iPad mini for pretty much everything I do on a day-to-day basis, and my question is, why does it still exist and is it worth buying in 2019? So let's get into it. Yeah, I know this is a very kind of Austin Evans tech sort of review because it's why does it exist? And we'll get into that after a little bit of a history lesson. So the iPad mini was actually introduced all the way back in October of 2012, and this was the first time that they actually did any sort of radical change to the design of the iPad. Up until then, it had been basically this same sort of square-ish design with really thick bezels, and the only thing they had really changed was the Retina display and the charge port from 30-pin to Lightning. That was it. So then here they come out on stage introducing a brand new design with slimmed down side bezels in the size of something that can easily fit in one hand. So, why did they do that? Well, the main reason was because they saw a market that they wanted to go after, a smaller tablet market that Steve Jobs would have never attacked because he thought that having something that was the size of a printed page book was a much more natural experience for people. But it was undeniable at the time that small tablets were taking over the market, and Android was predominantly the main tablet maker for that, or Android was the main software maker, rather, for that size tablet. So then here comes Apple with a tablet that was that size, and, well, how did it do? It did really good for quite a long stretch of time, but then why is the iPad only now getting an update after 3 years of not touching it? This thing had been redesigned so infrequently, and then once they hit the 4th generation, it sat for 3 entire years until it randomly got updated in March of 2019. That's quite a weird update schedule for something like this. Actually, fun fact, the iPad mini 4 will be supporting iOS 13, but the iPhone 6 won't. These actually share the same processor, and in a lot of cases, the iPad mini is working harder to run all those pixels because it has way more pixels than what the iPhone did, even though the iPhone's not supported. And the reason for that is because the iPhone 6 stopped being sold new in 2016. The iPad was actually being sold up until the beginning of this year with those kind of specs. And with Apple's track record on software support, they probably wanted to make sure that this would be supported for longer than a year. Anyway, getting back to it, why didn't they just drop the iPad? Why is it getting all this attention now, and is it worth getting at this point? Well, let's take a look at the current state of small tablets. And no, I'm not counting phablet phones, I'm counting actually designed tablets, meant to be tablets. Right now, the most popular small tablet on the market is the Kindle Fire 7, and it's a bit of a joke. I mean, the processor is straight out of a smartwatch. The screen looks awful, and it's pretty much good for opening up books, I guess. Yeah, it's a good e-reader with a color screen, and it can kind of open web pages, though having actually messed around with several Kindle Fire 7s from customers who want to buy a $50 tablet, they're not great experiences. They are laggy, they are slow, you can barely open web pages, you don't get the full Google Play Store. It's a mess. They're popular because they're cheap. That's just how, that's the truth. They're popular because they're cheap. But people aren't going to argue with cheap, and they're also not going to argue with small. They get a $50 tablet, and it's way more convenient than a 9, 10, 11, 12-inch tablet. Way more convenient, but it doesn't quite do all the same things those tablets can because of its limitation in hardware. A set of tablets that can kind of hold their own are the 7 and 8-inch Tab A's from Samsung, but their days are numbered as well because, well, I don't know what Samsung's going to do considering that Android is officially being dropped from tablets by the end of this year. Google has pretty much said that everything is going to be Chrome OS for their big screen stuff, and Android's only going to be on phones. So I don't know what exactly is going to happen with the Samsung tablets. So again, their days are numbered. Enter the iPad mini. It's definitely not a $50 tablet, but it is literally everything the new iPad Air is in a package that can be carried around so easily. In fact, I never thought that the difference between my 6.5-inch phone and a 7.9-inch tablet would make as big of a difference as it did. But it really does, and the fact that I can pick up a tablet-style task on something that small and get it done in a quick, tiny, easy fashion makes all the difference in the world, and that actually comes a lot down to software. And speaking of software, with Apple's track record, this tablet refresh is probably going to be supported for at least the next 5 to 6 years, and you're not going to find that on anything that's designed to be a tablet. Yes, you're probably going to find it with a Windows tablet, but I've got a video coming out pretty soon talking about my thoughts on tablets that can replace your laptops and devices that are basically laptops shaped like tablets. But stick around for that. That's going to be coming next week, but back into this right now. I've always kind of had a soft spot for the iPad mini. In fact, this is my first iPad mini that I ever owned, and I actually really liked it. I liked the small screen, and it was something that I actually thought was a really kind of cool device. Now, granted, this one didn't exactly find the best end to its fate. May it rest in peace forever. But I used it a lot. Even if it was a first generation, it didn't have the greatest hardware, it didn't have the greatest screen, the software wasn't supported as long as you would have expected, but it was a first-gen product that they kind of just said, we don't know if this is going to be popular, here you go. And I bought into it, and I loved it, every minute of it. But since then, I've gotten used to larger screens on laptops and tablets and phones, and I kind of forgot about the convenience of having this smaller screen. I would usually leave the smaller screen stuff to my phone, but being able to pick up a tablet and do laptop-grade tasks, especially with the new iPad OS 13, being able to pick up laptop-grade tasks on something that is not much bigger than my phone, there's something so compelling about it to me. And it makes me think that this is actually going to be a tablet that would be very useful for college students or people who are just looking to take a device on the go that is small enough to be thrown in a purse or a bag, and even a back pocket if you wanted to, whenever they're done doing whatever laptop-style tasks they would want to do. And it's funny because after using this iPad mini for the past 3 weeks, I feel like I've discovered an aspect of the tablet market that I had forgotten about. This aspect and this demographic of people who are looking for a tablet that can be thrown around as easily as a phone, but can do so much more. And do all of this while giving you a great screen, phenomenal battery life, a meh camera. That is pretty much my most major complaint. It's still an 8-megapixel camera, which I'm not an iPad photographer, but when it comes to what I use the camera for, having a 12-megapixel camera on an iPad Pro for scanning documents makes a world of difference versus scanning a document with an 8-megapixel camera. But that aside, you get all of this and a familiar experience without having the hassle of having to carry around a massive device. Overall, the iPad mini's latest refresh has kind of rekindled, pun intended, my love for small tablets and how useful they can actually be. I'm actually really glad that Apple refreshed the iPad mini, and I sincerely hope that they don't wait as long to upgrade this one as they did for the last one. That was just unacceptable. But overall, I feel like the iPad mini, for a lot of people, is a compelling purchase because you get a convenient e-reader style tablet with the raw power that a lot of people have come to expect from iPads and the upgrade cycle that people expect from everything except Android tablets. Not to hate on Android, there's so many useful cases for an Android phone. Their tablet game, on the other hand, really needs to step up before I even start recommending them. What do you guys think? What camp do you fall in? Do you guys like bigger screen phones and just say that's good enough, I don't need a small tablet? Do you like the idea of a small tablet? Do you think that maybe the iPad mini is something worthwhile nowadays, especially since Apple has very aggressively refreshed it from a very bulimic A8 chip to A12? Either way, guys, if you enjoyed it, you know what to do. Hit the like button. If you didn't, the other one works fine. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell notice if you want to get notifications for every video I do every day, including this tech review style thing, the anime reviews that I do every Monday and Tuesday, or Tuesday and Wednesday rather. Musical Monday, Funny Friday, whatever. Make sure you guys check those out. Subscribe, all the fun stuff, and I will see you all in the next video. Make sure to be there and have a good one.